All right, good afternoon. Good to see y'all again. We've got a big challenge for us again this week with a really good football team. We just got to find a way to slow them down and get a big win at home. So go ahead.
Hey Adam, we saw four guys were gone yesterday. They look like they were all back today. Was that just a matter of COVID testing and getting cleared, or what happened?
Well, I can't really get into that. I'll let Coach handle that. They were all back on the field today for us, and hopefully they'll be there for us Sunday.
Now, what's the challenges of tackling A.J. Dillon? I mean, is there anything different that you instruct your players to do when the guy is that beefy?
Yeah, he's a big man, and he's hard to bring down. As he showed last week, he had a check down for about like 30, 40 yards. So he's a big guy that we've got to get, number one, a lot of hats to the ball and make it a group effort, not just one-on-one. And really, you tell him to go lower against guys like this instead of letting it going high and have the ability to bounce off the guy.
Hey, Adam, your thoughts just on how Patrick Peterson has looked in practice this week coming off the hamstring injury?
I think he's looked good. I think he's working back into his conditioning and all that. But we challenged him today on a couple long balls, and he covered them well. So I think he looks like he's ready to go.
Yeah. What is he having a veteran like that, an all-star out there on the field, what does that potentially add on?
Oh, it's great. It just helps with the communication. It helps with that getting he can anticipate routes because he's seen so many in his career. So he's really valuable for us.
And if Pearson's able to go back into the lineup this week, I know Mike Zimmer said yesterday that they'll still try to find ways for Cam Bynum. Correct me if this is different, but you guys used J-Ron as a big nickel before and kind of using those three safeties. Could that potentially be a role that he would fit into, even though I know different players, different body types, all that?
Yeah, well, not giving way too much. I think there's ways you can incorporate a third safety, whether it be against a certain personnel group or that the offense is giving you, or just a defensive package on third down that you have. So there's a couple different ways that we can incorporate that. J.K. was a little different because he was a real big guy, and he fit the run really well. So we'll work through that as the season progresses and come up with some new stuff.
Is it hard when you have a guy like Cam who's played so well, just in limited snaps, to kind of pull him back then if you are going to put Harrison back in, just where it's you don't want to stop playing somebody who's been playing so well?
Right. I would say that Cam's made a lot of good plays for us, but he hasn't been perfect either. So obviously we've got to balance that. But I think by getting him reps, he will get better, and so we've got to kind of balance that between what's good for us and what's good for Cam, and kind of find a common ground, if you will.
Like you said, he hasn't been perfect, but what have you liked about Cam's improved game, especially so on Sunday?
Well, I think he's more decisive. I think in the preseason he was kind of feeling his way out, but he was more decisive and more aggressive, and he was able to make adjustments on the fly. If something wasn't perfect the way we practiced it, he was able to adjust and make us right. So I think his maturity is showing. I think his intelligence is showing a lot. He's a really bright kid and picks things up pretty quickly.
What is it like in this building in Packers week? I mean, I know that every game counts as one, but I mean, it's just different, right?
Yeah, you always want to beat these guys, and it always feels good to beat these guys. And when we beat them last year, it was a big deal for us. It's like Carl Scott's from Alabama, and I said it's like Georgia week for you around here. They don't like us, and we don't like them. My neighbors are Packers fans, and I don't want to go home with a loss. So anyway, it's a little different, just like any division game is really, but this one maybe a little amped up.
What's it been like to kind of turn the series around a bit? They had a stretch where they went 10-1-1 against you guys, then you broke through in 2015, and it's 6-4-1 your favor since then. What's it been like to kind of turn that around a bit?
Yeah, well, we were only there for about two of those in the losing streak, but that's the job. They're in your division, and you need to beat the teams in your division, and they've been good for a really long time. Thanks to the quarterback, they've had two good coaches, so. It's good to get back on the winning track, but none of that matters on Sunday. We just got to go out and we got to play, and we're planning to go get a win.
Was there any one of these matchups with the Packers since you've been here where you walked out of it and just said, like, wow, I get it, that this is why this is so big?
Probably go back to the 2015 last game of the year when we played them, and it was just a battle the whole game. It was a night game, and Rodgers went back and he threw the ball up, and you're just saying, please don't catch it, please don't catch it. And then it went down, and everybody's so excited. I remember seeing Dennis Ryan jumping up and down, and I'd never seen him do that. So that was my welcome to the Packers-Vikings rivalry moment.
Now that you have a couple practices under your belt this week, how do you, with Kenny Willikers, if he can't make it, how do you kind of handle the defensive end rotations there after your starters, Griffin and Wanham?
Yeah, Kenny's still on the COVID list, so we'll see where he's at. I think we're going to have to create some different packages, move some guys around. We'll probably wait until tomorrow afternoon to decide if we have to bring somebody up from practice squad or not.
But Adam, how do you feel about the way you've been able to generate a pass rush the last few games without Hunter now?
Yeah, we've had to kind of create some things with some different looks, some different pressure packages and things like that. And the guys have done a good job of executing it. And so we'll continue to do that. But I do think guys like DJ are coming along as pass rushers, and interior we've got Sheldon still that can really push the pocket. So those guys will help. And obviously being creative always is something we're trying to do.
What's the challenge this week in trying to get some of those pressures off against Rodgers?
Yeah, he's really good at seeing it. I mean, he's seen it for however many years he's played. But you could. I think we have a plan in place where we can do that. It's just, he's so good at seeing things and getting the ball out. You have to pick the right time to do it, and we're doing our best to find that way.
Well, he moves in the pocket. Just how much tougher does that make for guys to sack him?
Yeah, that's what makes him great. He not only does he have a great arm, but the thing that makes him elite and puts him in the top 5 in NFL history is the way he can move around in the pocket, like you said, and and not only move around in the pocket, keep his eyes downfield and find a receiver. So he has to. So we have to do a great job of when he moves around, staying in coverage, and then also be disciplined in our rush lanes and try to keep him from having time to create things with his feet.